Are we live? You didn't tell anyone? You didn't tell anyone, right? You didn't tell anyone about the stream? Okay, I don't see a lot of people. That's good. Good. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. What's up, guys? Welcome to After Hours. I told everyone. How fucking dare you? Oh, man. So how'd you guys like the stream? Was it okay? Helpful at all? Anything like that? Did you learn something? Something new? Do we need a secret password for this stream? The asshole response that came to my mind was credit card or social security number. No, but the password is 420 blaze it 696969 because we're a mature stream here. Oh man, I enjoyed it. Very informative. Okay, good to know. Yeah, sorry for starting a couple minutes late on both of these. I'm trying to be right on time for forever, actually. We got in the habit of it last week, and I quite enjoy starting on time, it turns out. Yeah, I had a crazy week, and then the stream configurations I'm using, I picked old ones by accident. But they're not really old so much as different, so I just had to move stuff around. But actually, it's kind of probably for the best that I do this, because I'm trying to compare different... when I say configuration, it's like the connection. So let me know if these like streams seem like more stuttery. I guess we won't really know until tomorrow with the webcam. So I'm going to try and play around with the bit rate and the ones in the zeros going in and out of the tin can string, and see how stuttery my webcam is. I think it should be okay because this is what I used to use, and you can't tell. There's no difference outside of connection speed. So I never got any huge complaint back in the beginning. So we'll see. But yeah, this is kind of just going to be like a stream of consciousness stream. Feel free to let out your own feels as well, your own stream of consciousness. Not to be confused with the stream of consciousness over at patreon.com/VKH press. Shameless plug there. But I just remember that from, oh man, who's that guy, that really cringy guy that everybody's mad at right now for false flagging a bunch of YouTubers. Dare I say his name? Basically, this is like, what a month the stream. Like, wow, what a month in every aspect. It's not just me. It can't be just me, because I've seen some of you guys in Discord. I think everybody's lives synced up to go to hell this month. You know, I mean, in my case, it was productive hell. In Winona's case, I think it was productive hell from what she's told me. I mean, she's you know, she had her internship wrap up, and she's getting ready for school. Hopefully, she can be back on streams relatively soon. If I can get her on Monday, I will. But yeah, this month was insane. I mean, obviously there was like a ton of releases that came out, you know, like just a ton. Like I thought I'd seen it all at this point, and then 2018 came around, and it's not like I had my guard up or anything, you know, like, or that I was like able to notice it until recently, and like because it was like 2017 was pretty crazy, and then I came on as a co-owner at start of 2018, and that's a lot of these projects have been these newer stuff you see. That's kind of my department, and we're known as the the experienced music industry savant that knows what's good, what's not good, where the line is, and and stuff like that, so that I'm free to kind of do all the experimental stuff. So like I was all caught up in that, even though I've been, I was an editor of VKH for a very long time prior to becoming a co-owner. So I got caught up in a lot of that, and so but I was still consuming music at the same time, because we were talking about music, and then it just so much started happening so fast, and like good things, like, and bad things, all at once, like Kizu, kind of, we discovered Kizu, that was a big deal. Ligro came back and was gonna put out a full album. That's an old deep cut, man. That was an indie band that we all loved. They were like, they were Durangray inspired, but they had their own sound and they were hard. And then they went through like years of hardships before going on hiatus. They were all the way down to one member, and then they went on hiatus. The one member came back with 4 new members and like an overhauled sound, and like they put out a PV. It was like a 7.5 minute epic, and then they announced a full album, and it was a concept album, and they were putting out tracks, and then they just disbanded out of nowhere, canceled everything. It's like, fuck, what the hell? But then at the same time, there's so much amazing other content coming out, and then it just ramped up over the summer. Every band I remotely cared about is like put out an album this year, or is putting out an album this year. Like, I can't even list them all, man. It's been insane. And then August hits, and my God, like the surprise successes, the albums that have thrown me for a curveball. I thought I knew what to expect with some albums, but like that I was gonna get like a certain type of sound, and I got a completely different type of sound. Other bands, it's like I had low expectations for, just because I wasn't expecting a ton, and they blew me away. The major bands are hitting it out of the park in terms of innovation. The indie bands are wild right now in terms of like the amount of content they're pumping out, the degrees to which they're doubling down on their wild experimentation. And then like all this time, of course, my personal life and my day job, I get a new job, and it just explodes with busyness during August, and all the way right up into this last week. I had to go out of town for a family. We had a family event, and I also had a doctor's appointment that I needed to go out of town. So like I was out of town Thursday and Friday, got nice and well rested up, was supposed to come back Friday evening, had all these streams planned, and then I go to fill my prescription. This is just the latest thing. I go to fill my prescription at the CVS over there from the doctor I just got, and it'll be ready by 6. Okay, cool, because then we can drive home. It's 2.5 hour drive back to my place, and it's not ready till 9, and so I end up back here 24 hours later than anticipated, scrambling, getting everything done, but confident that I can still get it all eked out, and I got it out. So if I was a little rambly on stream, it's I'm still settling from basically the entire month of August, since it's September 1st. It's like it's just all the way 30 days of madness, or 31 days of madness. So work is I guess we're doing a can I steal Baldman's thing? Do a buddy check? That's what we're doing right now. So go check out Baldman Reacts. He has cool reactions, and he's a nice guy, and he checks in with his subscribers. He does the buddy check. So what how are you doing, chat? Mine was moving hell. Therefore, my lack of internet presence. Oh wow, yeah. I feel that kind of. I am finally getting all my furniture in. Um, so I will be putting together furniture after this stream. I'm just kind of chilling right now, but I'm excited because I have my wall or my portrait and painting hangers for all my merch and my sister's art, and so a bunch of cool stuff for the background for when I do have my webcam on, and I'll have a desk and I'll have a really comfortable chair to stream from, and yeah, so it's all coming together. But it's yeah, my whole if I'm echoing right now, it's because my whole room is like cleared out so I can put the stuff together. Um, Work is just out for me right now. I feel you on that, Gula. Um, Lauren says, personally, 2018 has sucked, but musically it has been great so far, so 50-50. Yeah. Yeah, that's... the music has saved me, man, in a couple of times. I think Acme, LMC, and select tracks from Desert and Dimlim's new albums. They've all kind of been stuff I've just played at the end of the day to just like release and you know, as I walk home, as I like, you know, sit and kind of chill and just let it all out because, you know, high intensity day job struggles and you know, I'm not complaining. Like I've grown a lot this summer. Like I have become a better person after this summer, without bragging, but like genuinely, I feel very happy with what I've done. But just man, so much to take in, and don't even get me started on the fucking news, man. Like it's crazy. I mean, you saw the rant streams and stuff, you know, that I started doing. It's like it's getting to the point where it's like crap. It's almost coming in. It's coming in awfully adjacent to the kind of scenes I'm in. You know, a lot of drama. One of my favorite internet trolls got nuked off of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Alex Jones style. He came scrambling back because he's got good connections at Kickstarter at YouTube. You know, he's got all the YouTubers have each other's back at this point. Did a whodunit stream to figure out who got him kicked off. Like a murder, like a Scooby-Doo mystery, but for internet nerds like me. Yeah, there's everything. Wild. I'm going to move apartments again at the end of this month. Oh no, moving is no fun. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm actually leasing some of my furniture. There's a website, like a startup. It's called Court. This isn't an ad, by the way. I found this and I'm using it. But they let you lease furniture. So if you rent your apartment, you can lease your furniture. It's a little pricey, but if you get a student discount, like if anyone's in college and does it, like it gets really affordable. And you just deck out your whole college apartment with it, or your college, you know, if you've got an apartment. But it gets kind of pricey. But I didn't want to own a bed and I didn't want to own a couch because everything else I can cut my losses on if I move somewhere where the furniture doesn't match. But I just move around so much that I didn't want too much to tie me down. So what I ended up doing is buying a bunch of cheap but solid furniture on Amazon, like desks and stuff, and coffee tables, and entertainment center, bar stools, and then I'm leasing the big stuff, and it's nice stuff, and it's the important stuff, like the bed. So it's like a nice bed, nice mattress, sleep's important, and then a nice sofa. Comfort's important in the living room when you're watching cool stuff. So. I have an exchange student moving into one of our rooms tonight, painting the other room while listening. Oh, nice. My sister is quite the artist, actually. She painted murals on her room when we were growing up. like, or on her room, in her room, I mean, like she's got like these panda, like a big panda in like a field, like as a mural on her wall. And she's just, it's just there. So, um, but yeah, musically though, it's been very interesting. So maybe I'll just kind of, I may like wait until like some sneak previews for the streams coming up, but I think it's good to ramble, get it off my chest a little bit. Um, so like the heavy side of visual K has gotten very interesting. It's like almost like it's like half identity crisis, half strange evolution. Desert has put out an album that is, I would say, more than anything, is a Nagoya K album, which is not something from Desert. Like, Desert for being kind of like quirky and savage and almost a little zany, but like heavy. But this is it's not quite as heavy, but overall it's gloomy. It's very gloomy. And at first I was like, oh, I think these guys may have lost their edge, but I've been listening to it more and more because for anyone who's hip on Desert, you listen to their albums for their cool, quirky tracks that they have, and they kept those, and they fit better in a less heavy album, actually. And they're able to spread that creative side of them out a little bit more. And then they had this like gloomy, melancholy sound like percolating through the other tracks. And I've listened to it more and my opinions changed on it. It's just such a weird direction I didn't expect from them. They're gonna be like an amazing nu metal band if that's like the way they want to go, but they're almost like lighter than, they're like Nagoya nu metal, like because you think of Nagoya K, you think of metalcore and stuff, but really more than anything you think of the real quintessential Nagoya K is gloomy. Maybe doom and gloom, but like it's gloom. Like Kuroyume was like that. Deadman was like that. Like the legends of Nagoya K, it was like there was gloom, and that's what I hear a lot out of that album. So that's been really interesting to think about. Darrell's pretty straightforward. Darrell, there's not much to say about that I won't say on the stream. It's Darrell's kind of is Death Gaze 2.0, which I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised to see. A lot of familiar sounds, but like in a new format. And we'll get into that more on Monday. And Dim Lim's album, I gotta finish like figuring out my thoughts on this so I can finish writing this review, man, because it's all over the place. But I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. I don't know if it's a net positive or a net negative. I think it's a net positive just because Vanitas is such a phenomenally experimental track that I think that is one of the most important songs of 2018. Because that's gotten a lot of attention, and it's gotten the band a lot of attention. It passed like 100,000 views in like a matter of weeks, I think, maybe a month or a matter of months, a couple months. This band's barely over a year old. Yeah, they've got like momentum and stuff, but you got to take into account the YouTube effect, which is that it's a Japanese band on YouTube. It's only like the ones that make the hits that get, that much. And this was like a smash hit, and it was so experimental and so different. And a lot of the album is like that, but I don't know if I would say the rest of the album really hits it dead on. And I also don't think it's quite as savage as people were expecting it to be. It's just very avant-garde. It's extremely avant-garde. And I think Lori kind of hit the nail on the head on one of our streams. I brought them up during our baby band stream, even though because I thought they were an interesting case. Because like Lori was kind of making the case that it's like our definition of baby band should probably be a little bit more limited, at least from her industry perspective. Just because a band's new doesn't mean that it's a baby band. If the band members have experience, then it's less of the case. It's not really a baby band. Like Acme technically wouldn't be a baby band, but Dim Lim was the most interesting case. Talking with her about, because initially it wasn't a baby band because it was Issei's new band, which and I got to get to covering Issei's new band, by the way. Don't think I've missed that. I'm aware, and there will be content. There will be articles. There will be some coverage of that, and I'll just leave it at that for now. Just don't want to spoil too much, but when Issei left, they did become a baby band technically, but they were just this baby band that is like pushing this really unique concept and really experimental tendencies and behaviors, and it just kicked all that experimentation into overdrive. So you can see they're very immature with their experimentation in the sense that they just do it all the time, like crazy, like different, like everything. But they hit and they miss, and they hit and they miss. It seems like, but when they hit, so it's like it's so strange. Like they've definitely, like, it's definitely a net positive for them as a band. Like they, as far as I'm concerned, they've landed on their feet. They're staggering around all over the place, but it's almost intentional. It's like they landed on their feet and they started doing a Naruto run up the wall and onto the ceiling, and they're backflipping all over the room. Like that's like what happened. So yeah, that one's wild. That's going to be a wild band to keep an eye on. I'm happy they didn't fade away with a whimper. They're back with a vengeance, actually. So, and that's just the heavy side of Visual Kei. A stream I want to do later, maybe later in the month, maybe later in the year, to be honest, because I got to see how it pans out. I don't know what else is coming out off the top of my head. That's Osharike, but Osharike is making a comeback as far as I'm concerned. And as far as I'm concerned, Osharike is winning right now, okay? Acme and LMC alone, like, the quality of music is insane, and it's fresh, and it's familiar, but it's like a fresh take on a familiar formula, I guess. But it's like like the electronic and rock stuff, but it's been done by bands that usually are in wildly different genres, like the heavier bands. It's so it's not like there's any comparison to be made between like LMC's take on rock and dance music and the Gazettes, at this point, not at least, and then Acme, who's like a little bit harder and heavier, they're almost coming at it from like a post-hardcore perspective, or like there's so much Western influence from them, from Western eras that are like long gone and dead, that they've like brought back. You could see it in my live reaction. I'm just like, there's like signs of recognition on my face. I'm like, this feels like Yellow Card, or this feels like old school Panic at the Disco, or there's one song on there that I tweeted about that was like, this feels like Streetlight Manifesto. And then it was like one of the songs just got me listening to, like, Streetlight Manifesto. I kind of have like a few songs by them I just play on repeat, just because they're just such ear candy addiction for me. So like I just go to those and just play those over and over. And like they've found their fresh take, and I think that's something I didn't consider before, is that it's like, well, these are technically formulas that resemble formulas of other bands, but it's a different subculture of the movement. It's the Osharike bands are moving in now. It's like, all right, no, it's our turn. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's get wild. I don't think there's a standard Osharike formula anymore. I think bands like Rave initially, because Rave is doing heavy Osharike, which, my God, that is some fascinating stuff, and it's turning out really well. And then Acme coming in with their own version of hardcore Osharike, and switching over to regular like happier kind of music, and then LMC with their their very hyper futuristic take. What is the core Osharike sound anymore? There isn't one. It's more of like the spirit and the energy, you know, and back to the look. You know, the look is the and that's probably how it should be. Is that it's just a unifying look and unifying themes. You know, of Oshare, which is fashion or trendy. So there. The trendy sounds have now been taken over by the trendy visual subgenre or subculture in visual kei, and it seems to be some sort of like harmonious alignment in the universe, because the music that these Osharike bands are putting out is, I'm highly impressed. I haven't been this impressed by Osharike bands as a whole in a very long time. So that's very exciting to see. So if this keeps up, I'll probably have a stream or a video. I may like make a video like when I get around to working on, you know, doing video editing for like, you know, medium length videos or short videos and stuff to put on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. At this rate, you know, we'll see how Durangray does, because that's going to be the interesting one, right? You know, there's stiff competition between the heavy and light sides of visual kei. You might see a video from me that's like the year Osharike came back and won. Like, because seriously, like I haven't seen like this kind of quality since I don't know, like since like Sug in their heyday at PSC. Like, you know, I don't know. And even back then, it's like there's you know, plenty of like plenty of crap mixed in with like the solid stuff in Osharike, but like this, it's like it's been borderline extinct for so long that now it's like the bands that are coming back, they're like making a goddamn statement. These Osharike bands, it's blowing my mind, and I'm all about it. So, and this is coming as from someone who's thoroughly enjoyed the heavy K from the last few years, but it's got to end at some point. It can't be. We can't let. We can't let the heavy. I really don't want to see the heavy phase of visual kei turn into the electro rock and electronic-core phase of visual kei, which is that they did it to death. And so it's like it's a great idea, but now like when anybody does it, you kind of get a little suspicious. You know, it's like, is it going to be contrived? And so like the Gazette, you know, and so it's like certain bands like the Gazette, you know, they kind of end up owning it, because it's like, well, you know, we were kind of one of the first, and we're kind of and we've always leaned into it. You know, other bands, when they're like, oh, we're gonna try it, and it's like, are you just, you know, is this another trend? Are you hopping on the trend, you know? But picturing Dimlin Naruto running, no, v-kei must not die. Well, here's what I was gonna lead into with that, is I don't think it's gonna die. Like, I think the electronic thing died. You know, I think it's pretty fairly safe to say it died, because people tried it and then they left it. I don't know how true that is of like Nightmare, for example. Like Nightmare had their electronic album and then they dropped it. And I know they're on hiatus right now, but like they dropped it and they went back to like whatever they were trying to do. But and then like, you know, Screw tried it and then they dropped it and then they went back to whatever it was they were trying to do. You know, and the Gazette tried it, but it worked really well with them, and then they just absorbed it. It became part of their sound, to the point where it's in their production values at this point. And like, even on like the, you know, even when it's to the point where it's like, even their 15th anniversary, where they're playing all their old stuff, like the oldest of old stuff on that DVD, still opens with a dubstep intro, and like their own sludgy of, you know, avant-garde, crazy dubstep music. You know, it kind of gave like a turn back the clock kind of feel to the start of the concert, so that was kind of cool. But they're not letting that go. They absorb that as part of their identity. And I think that's the key, is that when these bands experiment with stuff, when it works, it's the best thing they can do is just absorb it into part of their identity. And I think more bands have done that with the heavy K this time around than like with the electronic K or the digital K. I think rave is going to stay heavy. I think A9 is going to stay heavy despite the fact that they like to make dance music. They still have, even their last album, which is like this crazy mishmash of, that people seem to be pretty split on, by the way, in retrospect, like this crazy mishmash of like this hardcore sound, but like all this like, pop music and dubstep at the same time. If you just add up the heavy tracks on A9's like, latest releases compared to like when they were in their heyday on PSC as a major band and they were doing what was quintessentially known as Alice 9 music, it's all still heavier, even though, so they're going like lighter and heavier, I think Acme could have turned out much lighter than they did, but I think they're going to stay heavy and hard, and I think it's a great sound for them. So I think all it's done is made a lot of bands more versatile. We don't have Roy's even back. Roy's was one of the first bands, quite frankly, that was like not really heavy because they were like more Kira K, and they went in with the heaviness with Core, which is like which is what, 3 or 4 years old at this point. But like the new iterations of Kira K or like neo-visual K leaning bands like Roy's that are taking the lead in the scene, they're all heavier. It's like Arlequin or Pentagon or Razor, and they're like, yeah, they have like a mainstream friendly chorus in a lot of their songs, but like they're pretty vicious when they want to be. So I think the heaviness is going to have much more of a lasting impact, and that's probably because you're experimenting with metal and it's much more tangentially related to all things visual K, because a lot of visual K is rock and metal, as opposed to the electronic music or the pop music or the jazz music, which kind of just comes in and out as like a phase. I think it's sticking with a lot of bands, and I think Acme is like the product of that, is like the band version of the result of that, is that you got Dive disbanding, and then all of this heaviness was going on, but there was also a need for this lighter sound, and here comes Chisa and sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the other member's name, but here comes two former members of Dive with a new band that looks like an Oshari band on steroids. And what does it turn into? Eventually evolve into over time. It starts with a crazy sound. It could be anything, but what does it turn into over time? It turns into like Oshari core, and but like more so than that, like, and so it becomes super versatile. But like they don't shy away from the heaviness. That's the thing, is Oshari K bands, Kira K bands, like back in the day, they stayed away from that. Like they didn't get into that. Even Vivarush is trying heavy stuff and pulling it off. So it's great. It's a fascinating thing to observe, and I hope we can get Visual K out to more people, because the fucking case studies of this scene right now are insane, like musically. Maybe I can try and network my way into like talking to some other YouTubers and stuff, but if we can get it out to more people, there's hella articles to be written by people like so much more qualified than me to talk about this, for starters. Like, I just want to see their opinions on it, but I'm happy to, I'm working on some like concept pieces of articles that I may do in video form as well. Kind of diving into like some of the like denser stuff I've gotten into with my rants and ramblings. There's a lot of stuff to take out of this scene that I think it's like a diamond in the rough that is being overlooked. So I'm going to be doing a stream this weekend, an after hour stream, about why Visual K is not mainstream yet. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, so maybe we can make some progress towards that, but because it's the revolution, baby. This is where it starts. Man. This is you guys right here, we if you guys haven't seen my stream where I interviewed Shola Aurora, go back and watch that because I'm when I find some time, it's like top of my list to clip together a highlight reel of, because the wisdom he dropped in that. He's just a very experienced indie artist who's heavily inspired by visual kei. He's an international kei. He's my top pick for like international visual kei artist. Like he does it right with his music. And it's because he's been around a while, and he has a strong appreciation for the music, and he's developed his own abilities and stuff. But he has a lot to say about the industry and how to get it out there more. And the thing that needs to happen that I took out of that stream first is an international community. That's going to be. We need to have an international community, like a base. So that's what I'm trying to help start with the streams. At least you guys can come in and chat with each other and chat with me, with the Discord. You guys can come in and chat and share stuff, because social media fucking sucks dick right now for actually connecting with people. So I'm trying to take work with the best that we have, which is, as in my estimation, seems to be Discord and maybe some of the alt tech stuff. Maybe I can get you guys on some alternative tech websites like Steemit seems pretty interesting. Minds seems pretty interesting. But we'll see. We'll start with the common ground, the good one everyone's pretty good on, which is Discord. If we get that online international community, then we can start building physical international communities. We can get some local bands built. We can get some local artists launched, and then we can get some scenes going. And then when these anime conventions happen and the artists come over, if we're vocal enough, we can get local visual kei artists to open at these anime conventions. This is all Shola, by the way. So this is where it's coming from. This is sounding suddenly like more prescient than I normally am. This is why. If we get if we have these local, even J-Rock inspired or visual kei inspired bands performing, and they have a scene, and then they can bring an audience to these visual kei artists by opening for them at anime conventions. That's it right there. Then the local scene knows about them. They've made their entrance. They've been able to play it safe because they can still go to the anime convention, because the anime convention is it pays well. It's a one stop and then you're back, and that's a safe investment. Everything else is a risk. Like touring in the US right now is a huge risk for foreign bands in general. But if they can get in there and get exposure to the local scene, and their music's up on Spotify and Apple Music, which a lot of it is, and it gets spread around, and the local artists, bring them up and share them and stuff, and then there starts to be a demand for them, then they can come back for a tour, So yeah. Let's see what's chat saying. Electronic elements mixed with rock and metal isn't easy to accomplish as plain rock metal. Yeah, that's a good that's probably the more obvious point that I overlooked. Yeah, but still though, I would say yeah, because I see more Western bands pulling off mixing like light rock or alt rock with hard rock or borderline metal. It's a good point. Interestingly, not just the Japanese scene, but many Western bands also turned heaviness up a notch recently. Yeah, I guess. Well, the thing is, I don't know if it's. Maybe you have certain scenes in mind, but we talk about every now and then, and we're gonna get into this when I get a date settled down with with Winona for this. We're gonna rant about how rock fucking died in the U.S. and what happened and stuff. We talk about that. Western metal's been fine, all things considered. It's doing fine. It's surviving on its own. It's pretty much ever since Slipknot came back with their last album, they kind of guaranteed that new life would continue to be breathed into metal, and things have been like kind of kicking off ever since then, quite smoothly. Had some impressive comebacks, had some impressive new bands. All things considered, August Burns Red had a killer album. Veil of Maya is kind of ascendant at the moment, I guess, in recent years. Breaking Benjamin's latest album, I might actually like as much as their OG stuff, like from back in high school, which is crazy. There's been I know Breaking Benjamin's like hard rock, but they're pushing it. They're pushing it at this point. I think like Nothing More is a great band. Nothing More is the Gazette of the West, as far as I'm concerned. Like they're just like woke on how to mix just the right amount of genre with the right amount of alt metal. It's like, I can actually link you songs or I can like actually compare songs that it's like, they have a song called Christ Copyright, and the first thing I think of is Headache Man. They don't sound the same. They don't sound like one sounds like the other, but it's like the same spirit in both. Like the same level of like using like, industrial effects and like a hard hitting energetic chorus and stuff, but they're doing it in their own style. Bands like that have really like enriched the Western metal scene, I think. So, I would say though, there's plenty of bands that are doing actually a pretty impressive job of what we've kind of allowed and been down with J-rock and J-metal bands doing, because they do it pretty well, is like genre flip-flopping, like switching across genres and stuff. I would say people have been pretty kind on Bring Me the Horizon with all of their changes and transformations. I was a big fan of their last album, and I'm open to this new single, this Mantra single they got out. It's even more of a, moving towards new metal, but with like the distorted guitars, and there's some more pop influences. But the way they do it is just, it's pretty rock and roll. I think it's rock and roll enough for people, and you always have bands like 21 Pilots, which are like the, constantly, foiling people trying to draw lines in genres. Are they alt rock? Are they rock? Are they pop? Are they alt pop? Muse does similar things. They put out, they put out Madness back in 2012, or that was the single that blew up. It was basically a pop song, and The Second Law kind of felt like a pop album. It wasn't like super interesting for a lot of people, and then they come back with this glorious distorted guitar and experimentation with the electronic music and amazing instrumentals and impassioned vocals, and they win a Grammy in 2015 for that album, for Drones. Basically like become like the closest thing we'll ever have to Queen in our generation, and now they're back to something even poppier and trippier and crazier than before. And it's like, you don't even know if it's going to be like kind of a one-hit wonder, like their experimentation with Madness was, where it was like that was the one hit, and then nothing else on the second law really hit, or if they're on some like Panic at the Disco level shit, where it's like this is like a whole new genre crossing, but we all love it. And by the way, they Panic at the Disco, right? I think the whole album's out actually, and I just haven't listened to it yet. So, more interested in the general public reaction to it at this point, because they're kind of cultural icons to a certain degree, at least in the rock scene. Not getting too off topic. What else does chat say? Jeff, you need to work it with Bald Man. He'll get to know more about VK and also help give more exposure to the scene. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Bald Man if I can. If someone wants to convey this to me before I can convey this to him before I can get it to him, we'd love to have him on stream. Promote his channel and stuff. I want to talk to him about metal because there's a certain line that I get to where I'm a metalhead, but I'm kind of casual about it because I follow a lot of visual K, and so I have to have a lot of knowledge of like all the different genres and stuff. I think if you're just a metalhead in individual K, it's not you're at a big risk if you're in a position like mine where you're running a news site where you're gonna miss trends because you're not hip to the latest EDM trend, or if you're hip to the latest this or that. So I have to kind of like always be like paying attention to all these different genres, so I can't go too far into any which one. So that means these streams are like perfect for me to host and have somebody else on who does specialize in that, like a metal guy like Bald Man, or even an EDM person. Like I want to try and get Heavy Grinder on here, she's a great DJ. I met her back at Akon in 2017, I think, and she's amazing. And that's technically it's a DJ Heavy Grinder. It's a husband-wife power couple who makes some dope-ass metal step, rock step, all very Japanese J-rock influence and stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely working on reaching out to him. He's more than welcome on here. Just a crazy-ass schedule, man. But I would love to talk about Duran Gray with him, like after that album comes out. Maybe we can talk about Duran Gray. We can talk about the Gazette album because I'll have my Gazette review up by then too. So I want to hear the metalhead take. So basically starting from the bottom where the scene was in 2004. Oh, talking about building it up. Yeah, basically, because the internet landscape has behind our backs kind of reset itself. Nobody's connected anymore. Everybody's grown distant. Clickbait has become all consuming. Things have slowly become more self-centric, so it's getting harder to connect to people. If you that's why internet marketing's starting to become less of an edge than it used to. So we gotta do something radical. And at this point, I'm down with starting from scratch because when it comes to reaching out through the old methods, it's like I would rather just pave the way on the new methods and just push it until the floodgates break open and so the infrastructure's there. Enough of the forums, enough of the carving out groups anywhere you can. I'm as much as my time and the finances that we are able to amass, as a volunteer website, transitioning into becoming, more of a backed website, financially backed by viewers and readers, by the way, thanks to you guys, man. As we transition into that, like to the best of my ability, I want to push for modernizing like the flow of information about this, because these guys are really far ahead in terms of like their artistic merit and like the just the way they do things. I have an increasing level of respect as I understand more about the Japanese industry for the continued focus on physical albums, for example. But the lack of fear in mixing genres, the blurred lines where you don't know if Aimer is a rock artist or a pop artist, like how Winona's talked about. Like, they have the J-rock industry, and then more specifically, has a lot of like cultural nuggets to offer. And then the visual kei industry specifically is like this compressed diamond of like creativity that's desperately lacking all throughout, like, you know, the old music scenes of the West that are like dying out and stuff because everyone's starved for something truly interesting. It's just they're ahead in that, but they're behind in, you know, connection and communication. But it's not just them. We've all fallen behind in connection and communication online. I nuked my Facebook data this weekend. I made my Facebook public. As in like every post I'm posting from here on out is public. I'm friending anyone that adds me on Facebook. And the reason I did all that is because I finally decided to call bullshit on this public private thing, and having friends with like people that you know on Facebook, like that you've met in person, as though Facebook is still some sort of genuine way of connecting with people, or if it even ever was. It's bullshit. It's like you're just kind of floating there in a haze next to a bunch of people you've met or you've worked with or you used to be good friends with. So it's like it's a horrible way to connect with people. It's just there to make you mad and distracted and stuff like that. So I'm just in there posting goofy shit and to connect with people on Messenger, which thank God it's an instant messenger. So you could just connect with people on there and manage the VKH page and stuff like that. But my God, let's see. A great alt metal band on the rise is Avatar. They're good. Oh, I think I heard about them. Thank you for reminding me, though. I just type that into my my search bar for. No, it seems like they've been around for a little while, but I guess they're kind of on the up and up, right? Looks like, yeah. Okay, cool. I might not be fully correct about the Western metal scene. What industry trends do you see, if any? I kind of covered that because I was rambling, but yeah, that's about it. I'm not sure. Western metal was catching up with the heavy side of visual kei, maybe J metal for a while in terms of. I don't know if it's fair to say J metal out innovates Western metal. Maybe certain bands, like, I don't know. I think Crossfaith is completely onto something. I think they've been experimenting and trying to get it right, you know, and it hasn't come together until it was together with Apocalypse, but then when they did Xeno, they were trying to take it to the next level, and you know, so that was them trying a bunch of stuff, trying to figure out what the next level is, and then all these singles, and finally, you know, with all this different experimentation, and finally with this Ex Machina album, I think they've ascended to the next level, or at least version 1.5. But I think the idea that they had in mind, like the way they go about their music and stuff, is like the future of metal. Like they literally refer to their sound as future metal. I actually find it to be a fairly futuristic way of looking at it, of approaching metal. I'm not saying every band has to be a wub, you know, electronic core band or whatever, but you know, it's. When I interviewed them, I asked them how they made their songs, and this is an old interview that we have. It's up on VKH Press, but when they did Warped Tour a few years back, and I got to interview them. It was really cool. I got to interview them on their bus. Like at the end of the day, they were super chill, and it was they said I asked them like how they write their music, and they said. So like the guitarist, so Teru, who's the DJ, he picks the tempo. So he picks a BPM that is an electronic, or that is what you would use for electronic music, which is a specific type of BPM. And it's if you know any DJs, you know it's like there's a list of BPMs and they're all ear candy rhythms. Like, and then and then the guitarist comes in and writes the metal side of it to work to fit into that. and then he layers in his electronic stuff and production values and stuff like that. But it's like that kind of like cross genre cooperation all the way down to the composing and arrangement level, all the way up through the production level. Like I feel like that is the future. Like that's pretty dope. But I do see a lot of Western metal bands. They're kind of like running through some of the motions that a lot of Japanese metal bands had kind of figured out. Like, it's like, it's okay to be experimental, like usually that kind of stuff. But they've been making like more and more hits that have happened to also be experimental. So I thought they were catching up to at least Visual Kei heaviness for a while. But I think we're seeing a Visual Kei renaissance unfold before us this year. So I think Visual Kei is about to go back to being constantly ahead of its time, which we'll talk about tomorrow. It's for better or for worse, But yeah, if you contribute to his Bald Man's Patreon, he takes requests. Oh, that's cool. He has a Patreon, so we can plug his Patreon. It's kind of sad to see the scene in decline because VK has the capacity to pretty much market itself. Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know. See, the thing I want to go back and figure out is that when people say that Visual Kei is in decline, they're talking about an era. It's in decline from an era that all of the other rock and metal scenes have also declined from that era. So like 2004 to 2009? Maybe even sooner than that, and everything's declined after that. That happened everywhere. That happened all around the world. People, like the whole world, lost interest in rock and roll. Partly because it just got stale. It wasn't the counterculture anymore, I guess. The West. Sorry guys. We our Western rock and, I guess to an extent, metal music industry mainstreamed it to death. And then lo and behold, here come these rowdy boys from Europe with dropping house music, and then Skrillex pops up and all this other stuff, and the EDM craze takes over, and that's the new rock and roll. And now trap is the new rock and roll, and because it is like it hurts. If that stings, like get over the sting, because that's what it is. It's not an accident that Post Malone used to be in a hardcore band, and now he and he covers Rage Against the Machine at his trap rap concerts and stuff. That he's where the rock star scene is at, and that's where it is. And so I've heard some interesting commentary videos. I might see if I can get permission to play them on stream. Where they're having some hard talks about what the fuck happened with rock and metal music, and why it's not the edgy thing anymore, and why people still can't wake up to that, I guess. But I think in Visual Kei, I think if you're a fan of Visual Kei, you're pretty hip to that, because you're aware that you're not just a fan of Visual Kei because of its rock style. You're consciously or subconsciously, you're aware of the pop star factor that's going on at these shows and in these music videos and styles, and even in the songs themselves. You're aware of the experimentation with all these different genres. You're probably responding really positively to it because you're getting the best of multiple worlds. I don't want to project onto every single person that listens to Visual Kei, but maybe you like the more dramatic, like the symphonic music, and you like theater and stuff, but you also like rock music. It's like you're getting the best of both worlds that way. So I do think that's the future, is just bands more and more experimenting with multiple genres. Because what is considered the quote unquote hip, backlash or rebellious scene now is it's long enough now that it's not necessarily a reaction to rock music anymore. So rock music can get a second chance. They can get a second chance and be the backlash to the garbage level that some of this music has sank to as a result of going into other genres. I enjoy some trap music, but there is some there is trap music that is artistic, and there is trap music that is awful. So like I think the solution isn't to try and dominate the status quo. I think it's to try and slowly integrate with the status quo, and then draw the focus away from the status quo and into this new style of combined sounds. And who does that better than Visual Kei at this point? So I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I quite enjoy Visual Kei, but it's about my 2 cents on it. Facebook gives me memes and a place to drop photos. Yeah, Facebook gave me Messenger, and that's about all I use it for. I use it for memes, but I'm kind of enjoying the mental illness laced memes of Twitter. Like it's fascinating. It's like the ultimate social experiment is what Twitter is. Facebook's like the ultimate, I don't know, maybe internet normie social experiment, or like, because it's like a lot of parents and mainstream people are really on it, but like Twitter, it's like it's Wild West on Twitter, man. Like it's fascinating to me. It's really funny to watch. There's just whole areas of it I have to avoid because it's like straight cancer, but just in terms of whatever vacuous bullshit activistic political argument to people that I hate, I can't stand on either side or arguing about. But like, if there's a third party that comes in and starts pissing off both of them, or like if I go somewhere else and there's some hysterical memes based on a subculture I don't understand, and then I fall down a rabbit hole of what the fuck is this, it's like that's half the reason I like YouTube, going on YouTube. So I only post fan art for my favorite bands on social media. Oh, that's cool. If you guys want, if there's enough interest, are there a lot of you guys that do fan art in the chat and that watch? I was thinking of different ways to try and mix up like the background of my live streams, so it's not just like what I've got right now. If I move stuff around, maybe I don't have the chat on screen and I don't have a screen to share, and I want to talk, maybe have my face, maybe just want to have some cool backgrounds. I could have like a slideshow of your guys' fan art if you want to send it to me or tweet it at me. And like I'll put who it is and stuff if you want. It's not, and you don't need to make anything special or anything. Just like if there's a Visual Kei person that you did fan art of and it's safe for work, safe for YouTube, and you want to show it off and you support and you watch VKH live and you think that'd be cool, let me know. I had that idea the other day. I would be down with that, see some of the stuff you guys do, get it up on the stream, especially you guys watching the after hours, my secret commandos, our secret squad of Visual Kei evangelists that are going to spread the message of the holy order of Visual Kei throughout the world. Excuse me. Yes, I have a burger near me. Actually, I have a bunch of mini burgers near me. In terms of heaviness, I found that that the Western scene has tended towards a core sound, like metalcore and hardcore and stuff in recent years. Core bands have become popular and more bands are trying it out. Yeah, I've always said metalcore is the dubstep of metal. Take that every which way you want. Like, some people think dubstep is cringe, but like, it's catchy. It sticks in your head. Metalcore may be repetitive, but it's like if you need to work out. I got my bare tooth. I got a little bit of old school Bring Me the Horizon, granted, it's like if I'm just like having a particular hankering for Western metal, like, because I've also got Nocturnal Bloodlust and Deviloof now, but, I think deathcore became like an even crazier version of that ear candy sensation, but it's no longer ear candy. It's like ear the ear bath salts. Like, it just makes you batshit crazy, and you just go, you just put on this crazy deathcore and go to the gym. And I shouldn't even joke about that, because there's so many people online looking for something to demonize. You're gonna be like, this is crazy deathcore. I'm waiting for that to come back. I'm waiting for rock music to get demonized, or metal music to get demonized. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's going to be called hateful too this time. That's what it is. It's not going to be sinful. It's going to be hateful. You watch. 2001, it was, well, okay. 1998, it was sinful. 2018, it'll be hateful. Moral panic, moral busybodies. Always exist. In terms of, oh yeah, sorry, I just read that. Lauren says, and also for me, I have like an aesthetic call. I have an aesthetic. Call me superficial, but Visual Kei's more artistic than a band that has boring music videos and dress in jeans and a t-shirt. Well, yeah, I mean, that's like what rock and roll was about, man. Like, it's not an accident that Kiss is like one of the most popular rock bands in history. There's the only rock bands that really got away with like dressing like crap like that were those that were doing it as an artistic reaction to the OG, you know, of like a lot of those rockers, and also like grunge and some punk and stuff. But even they were like, you know, but like the rock gods, so to speak, you know, they were pretty. At the very least, they were fantastic showmen. And like, if you look at the glam metal, it's a very similar scenario as like what you see in Visual Kei. Like, it's like, I mean, you see where the inspiration comes from, you know? It's like dudes dressing like girls, but they own the stage and girls love them, and they sell up, and you know, and they have a strong fan base, and their shows are like a fusion of pop concerts and rock concerts, and it's like phenomenal and spectacular, and like, yes please, like it's epic. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. So I agree. Remember when everyone played Farmville on Facebook? Yeah, my ex's mom, I think, was addicted to it, or something like that. I think I knew a few people that knew people that were addicted to it. So it was wild. You know, it's back in the day when people weren't ready for the free to play games, for the freemium games that you know, were innocuously free, but then like drained you of all your money and time. We're older and wiser now, right, guys? A few $1,000s later for some of you out there. Do you guys know about? Yes. Oh wait. Yes, I agree. Core all genres are becoming more popular. I just dropped my phone on my face while I tried to respond. Go to bed, Gula. It's your turn. You're tired now. Do you guys know about Mirkur? You guys should check her out. Female hymn-like vocals over folkish black metal instruments. Cool combo. All right, I'll check it out. Yeah. Asuka, you're pretty hip on the gothic metal, all that. Yeah, the gothic metal, like the good stuff. Like, you know, like, yeah. Ask Asuka, our moderator, for other recommendations like that. Do you have time to hear about our Lord and Savior? Gacked, yeah. Actually, Kami Joe works better there than Gacked. Yeah. I also think Kami Joe is like a much more understandable use case. Sorry, that's a techie term. It's like a much more understandable example of Visual Kei in action than to Westerners than someone like Gacked might be. because Gak's like very Japanese centric. So like when he's voted like sexiest man alive, they get it in Japan, but they don't understand. But people in America don't understand it. You show Kamijo, someone who's like paying tribute to basically like the Prince Charming archetype of the West. Like people get it, and people see like what he's going for. They're like, okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Like he's wearing makeup and stuff, but we're not. Let's not cast the same assumptions here. We see what this guy's going after. We've seen this before. We know. We know Casanova used to dress very androgynously. We've seen this work in the 2% of people that can dress like fully rock and roll and completely rock it. Like we know what ultimate form of aesthetic attractiveness he's going for. I understand this, as opposed to Gact, which is like, it's too foreign of a thing, I think, for them, for a lot of people. Well, these uneducated Americans. Okay, so I called metalcore ear candy, and then I was like ear bath salts for deathcore, and Asuka just went straight to ear rape. It's pretty. I mean, it's probably what it sounds like to the uninitiated. That's what Durangray was like to the uninitiated. To me, as uninitiated, way back when. If you introduce anyone to Durangray too early, ear rape is going to be their response. But especially deathcore too. Lauren, you're right about aesthetics. I heard Bullet for my Valentine before I saw their videos. I liked them, but I was so disappointed seeing them in their videos. That's a lot of rock bands though. And yeah, it is boring. They're just like shit and playing on stage. There's some people that can own it. Like, I don't know if I would ever want Seether dressing super lavishly, but Seether dresses super like alt, or at least the vocalist does. But it's like, it's the whole point of Seether is to be like, no, I am ugly. I am like messed up. I am this, I am that. And I'm here and I'm brooding about it. And I'm the fucked up guy. I'm the fucked up, Johnny Depp looking guy in the middle of the music video laughing at everybody else, with all this hypocrisy or whatever their given concept is about. So it does work for some bands, but when it's like every band, every hardcore band, every metalcore band, every deathcore band, they're all wearing like jorts and shit, like get the fuck out of here, man. Because you get me fired up. Oh man. Yeah. Jeff, I don't deserve that credit. Yes, you do. You've turned me on to some dope bands, Asuka. You know what's up. You've been a studious you've been under the studious tutelage of Baldman, I think. You sent me some solid recs, I wish I had more time to dig into all of the goddamn music out there, man. Like, I've completely fallen behind on what's trendy in the EDM scene. That's my edge, man. That's my edge in this industry, in this particular field of press, man. I live in the capital. I live in an EDM capital. You throw Digital K this way, I will tell you what the fuck is up. All right, you throw crossface future metal at me, I will tell you what the fuck is up. I will explain to you what Catastrophe is. Their music video from their album. I will break it down for you. I will explain to you that it is built on techno electronics. That and then it shifts to a hard style. Solo in the bridge, and that works so well because that is what hardstyle is. Hardstyle is like, if you ever see them in an EDM club dancing, like that is the hardest you can shuffle before you're stomping yourself into the ground in a club, in an EDM club, and then to throw in the breakdown on top of it, that's why that all works. That's Terry's great epiphany, is that use more hardstyle with my feature metal. Yes, hardstyle music works amazingly with crossface formula org style. I will explain that to you. So I gotta stay up on that, you know. You want to learn about trap metal? Yeah, you probably don't, but there's some shit coming down the line, man. It's gonna happen, you know. It's already happened. If you look up Fame on Fire, they do some great covers of different stuff. They did a cover of XOXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi, and that's like a quintessential like trap party song, and they nailed it as a metal cover. So it's doable. The prototypes are out there, you know. The pieces are moving into place. Post Malone is from the hardcore industry, and he's still a hardcore guy at heart. He still plays like heavy shit at his concerts sometimes. He's waiting. He's waiting at the top. He's waiting at the top, man. You know, he's waiting at the top of the charts. It's there. It's happening. It's hip. I don't know how I got to this, got on this particular topic, but yeah. Yeah, it's there. So I gotta stay up on that shit. The quote of the stream tonight: I will tell you what the fuck is up. Yeah. I just like EDM with metal because it gives me sci-fi vibes. LOL. Of course. Sorry, I just do an impersonation for a second. No, it was. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool on multiple levels. Like, it does feel very futuristic, and that comes from the EDM scene, though. Like, there's a lot of that. That's like this hella dope futuristic vibe to stuff. That's why dubstep or bro step like caught on so much, is it was a bunch of bros like, dude, this is fucking awesome. It's like robots and stuff. If you look up a guy called Excision, E-X-C... Wait, is it Excision? Yeah. E-X-C-I-S-I-O-N. And look up a live performance of him. You'll see what I mean. It's like... It's like a Crossfaith show or the Gazette during their Melt tour, but like cranked up to 1,000, and like just the most grating, crazy dubstep you've ever heard. But it's fucking nuts. It's like he's operating like some crazy holographic like robot and shit. Like it's some wild shit, you know. So, but there's a lot of vapid bullshit in EDM as well. So it's like, you know, you gotta filter a lot of it, I guess. Although I hear that the only people that can match, the only hipster fans that can match the metalhead hipsters in terms of genre classifications and calling people on technicalities and like, that's not metalcore, that's deathcore, that's not thrashcore, that's crossover thrash. That was my current favorite one, researching trying to pin down exactly what Darrell's sound would be classified as. There's a big debate about that. I didn't know there was a debate about that. Thrashcore versus crossover thrash. Apparently they're two things, they sound very, very similar to me. Anyway, the only people that can match the metalheads in terms of that is apparently the EDM hipsters. They will splinter their stuff all the way down, and it'll just be the same thing, is that they'll be in a heated argument with each other about it, and then like a normie guy that listens to Top 40 will walk up and just be like, to the metalhead, like he'll be like, it just all sounds like, you know, crazy clanging to me, and then he goes to the the EDM guys is like, it just all sounds like crazy computer blips to me, you know. It's like that sort of thing. So subgenre debates worry me. God damn it, Asuka. No, they're all thrash. Ugh. I don't even know. That probably is an argument that someone is holding. Maybe not about Darrell specifically, but it's like, this is a thing, damn it. Like, But yeah, that's why my last after hours I am going off on one of those subgenre things because I'm calling bullshit on on Monday on Wikipedia's definition of metal, or lack of a definition, and just calling everything heavy metal. But more specifically, I'm calling bullshit on how people use the term progressive metal, because it's so annoying when dealing with visual K, because there's it like when I'm like, okay, progressive metal. So which VK bands are progressive metal? Is it like the symphonic metal bands? Is it the like these more technical gent bands? Is it the gent bands? Is it the gentcore bands? Is it, the gothic metal bands? And then it's just like I look up on Wikipedia and it's like, yes. I was like, well, fuck. What do I do? What do I need that for? Like, useless. So there's your warm up teaser, but. All right, it's been long enough. I gotta go get ready for bed, and right before that, put together some furnitures, set up my stream station. You guys can let me know what you think of it tomorrow. So it's good talking with you guys. Good rambling. Good. Not buddy check, in case Baldman's trademarked that. Good stream of consciousness. I guess that's ours. I guess that's the VKH version. But yeah, all right, guys. Get ready for a wild, crazy weekend. Tons of streams. I'm super excited. So, on that note, I will see you later. Peace out.